Hi there, my name's Damien with Mad Ape Vape. Today I'm going to go over DIY e-liquid. That's right, we're going to make some e-juice. I'm going to give you the best, simplest instructions on how to do this. First things first, you got to have gloves. The nicotine that you're using is poisonous. If it gets on your skin, you can absorb it, get nicotine poisoning. You don't want to be that jackass on the news who got nicotine poisoning because he's trying to make e-juice in his kitchen. Alright? Second thing, got to be using a clean environment. You don't want your wife or your moms or whoever in the background spraying hairspray and getting that into your workspace. You don't want to vape that. That's nasty. You don't want dogs running around or anything that can contaminate your e-juice, because whatever's in the air can possibly get absorbed into your juice, and then you're going to vape on that, and that's not cool, man. That's gross. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you what I got here. Distilled water. It's got to be distilled water. You're going to use this to clean out your syringes and your bottles. And if it's not distilled, if you're using tap water's got chlorine in it. That's gross. You don't want that. If you're using mineral water, it's got minerals in it. You don't want to be vaping on minerals. That's gross as well. My base liquid today, I'm just going to use the simple 50-50 premixed base liquid. That's 50% vegetable glycerin, 50% propylene glycol. This is a pharmaceutical grade made here in the USA. I'm going to be using my unflavored nicotine. Now this right here is 100 milligrams per milliliter. That equals out to 10%. That's poisonous. It even has a little character there telling you, hey, I'm poison, so you can't vape this straight, you got to cut it. I'm also going to be using Flavor West Monstrous. This is supposed to be like a monster flavor. I've already know the recipe to this. It's really, really good. I also have 2 syringes here. Now each one of these I got from the local pharmacy. When they told them I got a sick kid, I need some medicine syringes. And they gave them to me for free. And they usually will do that. They usually give you 2 or 3 of them for free. Tell them you got a sick kid. So there you go. There's my measuring devices. Now, I've already cleaned everything. The way I clean is I take my distilled water, and I take a porcelain coffee cup, I rinse it out with my water, and I fill it up about halfway. I put it in the microwave for 45 seconds, get it warmed, and I'll draw the water out of the cup with my syringes and squirt them off into the sink. Then I'll draw some water up and squirt it into my bottle, and rinse my bottle out, shake it up, get it nice and clean. You want everything as clean as possible. And after that's done, then I get to mixing. Now with this liquid here, that's $6. This is 115 milliliters right there. Your nicotine is $10 for 115 milliliters. This flavoring, this particular brand, runs about $3. I bought all of this from eCig Express. They've got 1,400 different flavors. They've got multiple different sizes, everything from 30 milliliters to a gallon on your base liquid. They've got different ranges of nicotine. You can go ahead and get your nicotine already mixed down to a 1.2% or 12 milligram, and that's vapable. This is the cheapest way to go, and this is how I like to do it. So now that I've shown you all this, let me talk a little bit about the math. Now what I do is when I'm messing around for new flavor is I'll put 2 mils of my base liquid, no nicotine. Then I'll put 1 drop of my flavor. And then I'll drip it, taste it, see what it tastes like. It doesn't have much flavor. So then I'll add another drop. And I'll keep doing that. And let's say I get to 5 drops for 2 milliliters and it tastes great. I love it like that. So then what I'll do is I'll multiply that by 5. And that gives me the full 10 mils. So that's 25. But I've already have put 5 drops in here. So I'm going to subtract that 5. And that's 20 drops. So I need 20 more drops of flavoring plus the rest of my ingredients. And by doing that, if I mess up, I only waste 2 milliliters of the cheaper product, and I don't waste any of the nicotine, the more expensive product. It's always easier to flavor up than it is to flavor down. Makes sense? Alright. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the math for the nicotine. This here is poisonous. Like I said, it's poisonous. Do not try and vape it how it is. I like using the 100 milligram. That's the strongest you can get it, but it keeps the math really, really simple when you're doing bottles in increments of 10. That's why I use 10 ml bottles. So break that down. If I want 0.6 milligrams of nicotine or 0.6%, what I do is I draw up 0.6 milliliters. So with these syringes, that's really easy to do because it breaks it down. It goes all the way up to 10 mils, and it breaks each milliliter into up by twos. So it counts by twos. If I want a 24 milligram or 2.4%, I need to draw up 2 milliliters and then 2 lines. That's 0.4. It's very simple when you're doing 10 mil batches. So, pretty sure I explained that really easy. There is apps out there that help out with the math part of that. Pencil and paper works great. If you don't get it, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. That's easy. That's 5th grade math. Gotta be able to do that. Once you figure out the math part, though, the rest of it's like cooking, figuring out the right flavors. You can get as complex as having 6, 7 different flavors into it, and making a really good personalized flavor. And that's what's great about this, is you control every aspect of your juice. You control how much nicotine. You control your PG to VG ratios, because you can get straight VG and get straight PG, and then you can play around with the ratios. So yeah, you're flavoring. If you're somebody who just never can taste the flavor, you can add as much flavoring to it as you want to. Granted, you get going with too much flavoring and it tastes horrible. It tastes like bad. So there is a little bit of trial and error with it. Same thing with brands of flavoring. You can buy 3 blueberries from 3 different brands and only one of them tastes good to you. A lot of it's preference. So there is a little bit of a trial and error phase, and once you figure out what works good for you, you're in the good. So I think I covered everything. So now I'm going to get to mixing. Alright, so here we go. Got my bottle. Got my nicotine. I like my nicotine at 1.6. So that means I'm going to draw up 1 milliliter plus 3 little lines. So that's 2, 4, 6. Go and put this in my bottle. I'm going to immediately put the cap back on my nicotine. Prevent contamination and prevent spills. Then I'm going to go to my base liquid. And I'm going to draw up. Well, if I just put in 1.6, means I'm going to need 8.4 to make 10 mils. So that's 8.2, 0.4. Add this to my bottle. Put the cap back on. Prevent contamination. Prevent spills. Now I'm going to go to my flavoring. Now I have my recipe book over here. So I already have done Monster, and I like to write everything down after I figure out a good recipe, and that way I have it. I don't have to try and re-figure it out. So Monster is calling for 12 drops for a 10 ml batch. Now this stuff's really thin usually, so be careful when you squeeze it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to put my cap back on, prevent contamination. And put my nipple on my bottle, and I'm going to shake this vigorously. And you really, really, really want to shake this down. And the reason is you just put in 4 different chemicals, and they each have different densities, different weights. A lot of people are talking about steeping, and they have all these tricks to steeping. They'll put it in the cabinet with the cap off. I don't like that idea because that exposes my juice to contaminants. A lot of people put it in the refrigerator. That's not good either. You need to keep all this at room temperature. And when you store your unused product, you want to keep it in a dark room temperature place. So you want to keep it up in the cabinet, out of kids' reach. but I have the sunlight as well. Now what I like to do for steeping is I'll put the cap on it and I'll just put it in the cabinet and I'll forget about it. Let it sit there for a week. And what steeping really is what's going on is, as you can maybe tell, the juice is just a slight off color. In no more than a week, it will be a little bit more off color. And what is happening is all these different, the flavoring is a lot thinner than the base liquid, and then the nicotine, all of that is bonding together. And it's not so much a chemical change as it is just it's bonding. Everything's coming together, and this tastes good now, but after a week it's going to taste even better. So shake, 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 shake. That's probably enough on the shake. I'm going to put the cap on it for now, and then you have to clean your utensils. So you want to take your distilled water and you're going to re-clean your syringes. And that's pretty much it. The math, that's the biggest thing is the math and the nicotine. It is poisonous. You don't want to huff the vapors, you don't want to get it on your skin, and you definitely do not want your kids or your pets get a hold of this, because at this percentage it is highly poisonous. The first time I started doing this, I was making batches with the nicotine in it, and I was puffing on it, and as I puffed, I was getting really lightheaded, and I don't know if it's because I was puffing on it so much, or if it was the vapors, and I wasn't using gloves either, so I think I got slight nicotine poisoning. So just be smart about it, don't be the cool guy, be the smart guy. And I don't know, it's really easy, and I think more people should do this. Hi there, everybody. We're going to go back over the math part. Walter White and I are going to go back over the math part. So, DIY nicotine math. If you're using 100 milligram per milliliter, as I was, that's 10% nicotine. That's poisonous. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused. There's two different ways to read your nicotine. You can go by milligram, or you can go by percent. So for a 24 milligram, or 2.4% at a 10 mil batch, you're going to need 2.4 milliliters. If you're doing a 20 milligram, or 2% at a 10 mil batch, you need 2 milliliters of your nicotine. If you're doing 6 milligrams, or 0.6%, you need 0.6 milliliters. A couple examples here. Example 1. This is a 10 mil batch, 50-50 PG/VG at 1.2% or 12 milligrams of nicotine. You're going to need 1.2 milliliters of nicotine. You're going to need 4.4 milliliters of PG. You're going to need 4.4 milliliters of VG. Alright, for a total of 10 milliliters. Now let's say you're doing another 10 mil batch, but you want your PG/VG to be at 40-60. So it's 40 PG, 60% VG. And you're running this one at a 2% or 20 milligram nicotine. You need 2 milliliters of nicotine. Now if you're using the 50-50 nicotine, that's going to play with your math when it comes to your PG and your VG. So you're going to need 3 milliliters of your PG, 5 milliliters of your VG, for a total of 10 milliliters at a 40-60. And that's 2% or 20 milligrams of nicotine. This math is really simple. This is 5th grade math. If you do not get this, you probably shouldn't be mixing e-liquid. Again, there are apps out there, but writing it down to me is the best way to do it. So, I'm Damien with Mad Ape Vape. Keep a lookout, because I'm going to be doing some rebuildable videos soon.